First thing I'd like to say is please subscribe to the YouTube channel. It helps out tremendously. Trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. Got that out of the way. Okay. Whole reason you clicked on this video. I got a 2022 YZ450 right here, and I had a 2018 in the past and it felt like a tank, and I got the 2022. Feels a little bit lighter, but it's still that just big beefy bulldog of a dirt bike. And we got a few hours on this one now, so I'm going to share with you the little tricks that I've done to get it to where it's actually manageable. I guess I'll state that I'm 6 foot and I'm anywhere from like 175 to 180. I'd say probably novice intermediate rider. It's been a few months. I shattered my collarbone 3 months ago, so I'm just getting back into the groove of it and just picked this thing up, so take it with a grain of salt. These are just the things that I've found that have helped me just fine tune it to where it's not such a beast. So starting off, just get the bike, do a couple heat cycles. What I've found is that the bike likes to run anywhere from like 165 to about 175 temperature wise. And so what I did is I started the bike right when I got it. Started the bike, let it heat up to about 165. I was just using the tuner app. And then I'd shut it off, let it cool all the way down. I mean, I gave it like a few hours in between. And I did that again just to get a couple good heat cycles in it. Then I took it to the track, just go ride it. The main thing is just try and get everything broken in. Because you can do clicker adjustments and sag setup and all that, but it's all gonna change again. So just go. I got an hour on it the first ride, and then I went back out the second ride, and now I have 2 hours on it. I feel like it's good and well broken in. And then from there, the first thing that I noticed with this 450 power plant is the power that it produces. And the stock tunes that are in there, they work, but for me, what I noticed right off the bat was like the engine braking going into corners was insane. As soon as I let off the throttle, I could feel the whole back end of the bike like swerving from it trying to slow down with the engine braking. So I'll go ahead and share probably a screenshot of my power tuner setup that I came up with. And to me, it's probably the best that it's going to be for reducing the engine braking. If you like the engine braking, then it's probably not for you, but I had to eliminate it because, again, going into corners, it just could never settle. It just always felt like it was, again, just side to side, and then it was just unpredictable getting into the corners. So I'll share that. Just pause the video if you want. It's pretty simple. And then just go into your power app, plug it in. Let me know what you think. I'd like to see what other people's opinions are about it. I think it's a pretty sweet setup. That's the first thing I would do is the power tuner app, just to try and reduce that. Second, for some reason, this bike feels like it squats a lot in the rear, and I could never get that front tire to feel like it was actually gripping. So the tricks that I came up for it is I took my calipers, and I do pretty much everything in millimeters because it's just Japanese, it's easier, everything's 1 to 10, 1 to 100, whatever. So what I did is I measured what they set it at stock, and it was 4.5 from the top of the triple clamp to I guess the bottom of this bronze cap, or like the top of the fork sleeve itself. So in there, there's a little like line or gap where it screws in. That's where I measured it to. I didn't do it from the triple clamp to the top of the cap. I did it right at that seam. I raised it up from the 4.5 to 7. And basically what that does is, I'm sure you guys probably know, is it just kind of drops that front end a little bit more to get more leverage on it. And that, along with setting the sag, I feel a whole lot more confident in the front end. Because like I said, right off the get-go, that was like, other than the engine braking, was the nervousness or just like the unsettling front end. I just never felt like it could grab, it just felt skatey. So we'll jump right into it. The sag, again, mine felt squatty in the back, like it sat too low. And I know they usually like recommend, I don't know what Yamaha, I haven't checked the owner's manual on what they recommend for the sag, but I know everybody likes to run around like 104 to 106. What I found to help is I do anywhere from 98 to 102. I'm set at 102, so it just depends if you like that 98 or the 102. You just got to play with it and just figure it out. And with that 102 instead of like a 104 or 106, it just helps that back end sit just ever so slightly higher, which again just helps with that leverage and getting that front tire to bite. What else? I got 14 pounds front and rear on the tire pressure, which I feel like I might change that just a touch. I might drop the front down to 12. The 14 for the rear feels good. And the main thing, I don't know if many people know about it, but the main thing with tire pressure is if you get down to like that 10, then you start running into pinching tubes just from the compression. Also, what it helps with keeping your tire pressure just a little bit higher, like I said, I keep mine at like 14. You can do like 14, 15. It really just depends on your preference, but running a higher tire pressure allows your bike to roll faster because it's less drag. It's not flattening out as much, so it just allows your bike to roll faster and you carry more speed. So just play with that. Like I said, I'd recommend 14, 15 for the rear, and I'm doing 14 for the front, but I feel like I'm going to drop that down to 12 again just to help that bite. Other than that, I mean, I really can't complain with this 2022. It's killer. That app, the Power Tuner app, is going to be your best friend. From when they started it to where it's at now, it's impressive. I'm surprised not other manufacturers haven't done it themselves. You can go in there and it'll give you tips on if you're at a sand track, if your front end doesn't feel like it's gripping, if your back end doesn't feel like it's gripping, if it doesn't feel like it's cornering right. They have tips and tricks for all of that. Not to mention with the Power Tuner, with your fuel injection and your ignition timing, you can go in there and it'll give you suggestions, or it'll tell you, it'll say like, I think what it usually says, like generally if these numbers increase, this will happen. And that's basically what I did for my Power Tune app that I came up with, is I just got on there, did as much research as I could, and back and forth between the app and Google. But yeah, it's amazing. Next thing that I'm gonna do is I feel like I want to drill holes in the air filter cover just to give it that ability to breathe just a little bit more. I have seen people create like a ram intake, like a 3D printed piece that they cut out up top, and then they installed that just to get it to breathe a little bit more. And then I'm also gonna remove the screen. It's up to you if you want to do that. I'm gonna do it. These 4-strokes nowadays are just engineered so well that I don't think it's necessary to have that backfire screen. It doesn't really help with filtration or nothing. I mean, if you're getting particles in there that are that big, then you got a whole nother problem. And it's also impressive with this high up intake. I've done, like I said, 2 hours on the bike so far, and the air filter still is spotless. Granted, down here in Alabama, I've been riding at Riverside MX. Check it out. Best kept secret in Alabama. It's South Alabama, and I mean, some days you get 7 riders. That's the most I've seen out there, and it is like a private track. It's prepped usually every Friday. Just a nice, simple, fun, flowy track to ride on. Nothing crazy. They got one good sized jump. You can check it out on YouTube. I'm going to be posting a couple videos once I get back out there. Really fun track. We'd appreciate it if you came out and supported it. It's only $25 to ride. If you can make it down here, please do. The gentleman that runs it, he's a little bit older now, but he's owned the property for, I'd say probably 40 years. I'm not exactly sure on when he took it over, because his dad was the one that originally bought the property, and then he started the track on it. So again, I don't know how much like help or anything that they need, but we're just trying to get it back up and running. So the more riders we get down there, the more funding they have, the more they can put into the track, and just overall, you know, just supporting the sport. So I'm trying to think of what I did for my clickers. I know I backed the compression off. I want to say from stock I'm out 5. So I'm softer 5 on the compression, and I think I only went 2 on the rebound. That was one thing I tried to get the front end to grip a little bit more, was to come out on the rebound, and I did 5 like I did the compression, and it wasn't the right move. So I went back to 2 out from stock, and then like I said, that's when I did the adjustment with the fork. So I think that's all I got for you. Stay tuned. Like I said at the beginning of the video, please subscribe. It helps out. Trying to get to that 1,000 subscribers and trying to get monetized and make some money off of this and enjoy riding dirt bikes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. Those are my little tips and tricks on I believe most of this stuff would equate to 2018 to 2022. I know the 21 and the 22 are about the same bike. The 23, whole nother animal. I probably won't get my hands on that, but that's all I got for you. Have fun riding, stay safe. See you later.